I went to my local Walmart and picked up 4 of the most promising budget phones. And today I'm gonna go ahead and review them and see which one gives you the best value for the cheapest price. These are all under $30. The first guy we have right here is the Moto G 2024, and I picked that guy up for $25. The second guy we have right here is the TCL K24, and I picked that guy up for $30. The third guy we have right here is the Blueview 5, and I also picked that guy up for $30. And all the way last but not least, we have the Moto G Play, which I also picked up for $30. So all these phones are $30 and under, with the Moto G 2024 being the cheapest one. And we're gonna power these guys on and see which one is going to give you the best bang for your buck. I'm gonna have to go through and set up all these phones. I'm not gonna add any Google account. I'm just gonna set it up with Wi-Fi and then skip the rest of the settings. And we're gonna see what bloatware do these phones come with. We're also gonna see how they perform, and we will come to the conclusion to see which phone is the best ultra budget phone. So I'm gonna set these guys up real quick, and then we'll get to testing these guys. I'll see you guys when everything's set up.
One eternity later.
So I'm still in the process of setting these guys up, and one thing I have noticed is that the TCL is incredibly slow, like very slow. These guys have all been set up for a while now, and going through the menus on the TCL is a painful task. Okay, I got these guys all set up, and now we're gonna move on to the first category I'm testing these guys on. And that category is, how easy is it to navigate the UI? So this means basically just swiping around, going in apps, going out of apps, stuff like that, just to see how usable the phone is when you're on the home screen. Okay, our first guy up is the Moto G 2024, and I've got to say, this is a very snappy UI. It doesn't lag much at all when going in and out of things, going into apps, super quick. And yeah, there's not much lag at all. As you can see here, we got a lot of bloatware, which is never good. But the good thing about it is that you can uninstall these apps that you don't want, or disable them if you don't want them installed. So yeah, this Moto G 2024 is very smooth with the UI. And that's mostly due to this guy having a 120 hertz refresh rate. So yeah, this is a strong way to start out for less than 30 bucks. I'm pretty surprised. Next up, we got the TCL K24, and this was the one that was taking forever during the setup. So we're gonna navigate this guy and see how well the UI is. All the bloatware just installed, so that's nice. So it's not the most responsive in the world. I mean, it could definitely be worse. I've seen worse, but it's not that good. I mean, compared to the Moto G 2024 that we just saw, this guy's kind of slow. So if we go into display, we can see that we do have a 90 hertz refresh rate, but honestly, I don't think the processor's powerful enough to even handle 90 hertz. So it's most likely going to be clocked at 60 hertz most of the time. But it's definitely still usable. Like I said, it's not the worst, but it's slower than the G 2024. And next up, we got the Moto G Play 2024. This guy's gonna have a very similar UI to the Moto G 2024. Very confusing names. But yeah, you can see all the bloatware that came on here. It's looking like they all kind of have the same bloatware. This guy is pretty snappy, definitely snappier than the TCL, but it is kind of slower than the G 2024. If we go here into display settings, you can see that we do have a high refresh rate. It goes up to 90 hertz, but I can say that this looks 10 times better than the TCL K24. I think it's because this has a better processor in it, so it's able to push those 90 hertz. Yeah, opening apps on this guy, very smooth, very seamless. I really don't have any problems with this guy or the G 2024. So right now, it's looking like the best one is probably the G 2024, and this one's coming in close second as far as UI usability. And next up, the last one for the UI category, we have the Blueview 5. This one does feel very similar to the TCL. I will say though, it does seem a bit snappier, so opening apps is going to be a bit quicker than the TCL. So as you can see here, we do not get a high refresh rate display on the Blueview 5, which is kind of disappointing, but for $30, you can't really complain. Having a high refresh rate display on a $30 smartphone is very good. So yeah, opening apps is fine. Android seems to be smooth. So yeah, this one's definitely better than the K24, but I would put this below the Moto G Play, and the Moto G Play would be below the Moto G 2024. So we have our winner right here for the UI usability. That goes to the Moto G 2024. Okay, and the next test that we're gonna do on these guys is a gaming test. So I downloaded Asphalt Legends on all of these phones, and we're just gonna see if you can game on them, and if you can, how well it performs. So we're gonna start off with the Moto G 2024. We're gonna launch Asphalt Legends. Okay, so we are in a game and it's running pretty well. I mean, I'm not good at the game, but the graphics look decent. There's not really any stuttering. And overall, the gaming experience on this guy is pretty good. And unfortunately, next we have the TCL, which took a good hour to install this game. So I'm hoping for the best, but I do not have high hopes whatsoever. So we're gonna get into the game and see how this guy runs. Okay, it's been a good 5 minutes and this thing is frozen on the loading screen. I'm gonna give it another chance, but if it fails to load, I'm gonna have to disqualify it because this is brutally slow. Like, I would not want to wait 5 minutes to start up a game. It's honestly like back in the 2000s where you'd want to go to a web page, but you'd load the web page, and while it's loading, you'd go get a coffee or something. So that's not quite the experience we want from this guy. So I'm gonna give it another chance, but if it fails, I'm gonna have to disqualify it.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, and sadly, trying to go into the game again just leaves me on this screen for another 5 minutes. So sadly, the TCL gets qualified in the gaming category. It might be able to make phone calls and do text messages and maybe some web browsing, but don't expect this guy to be playing any games. Okay, now we are on to the Moto G Play, and we're gonna see how well this guy performs. The Moto G did very well, so I have high hopes for this guy, and it looks like it's starting out a lot stronger than the TCL was. This is playable. Like, at least the game launches, and I'd go as far to say the game looks good. So you can definitely game on this phone. I'd still say the Moto G is slightly better, but this is acceptable. Like, for $30, this is a great gaming experience on mobile. And that brings us... If you're wondering what that sound was, that was the TCL smacking the floor. I'm hopeful it's okay, but if it's not really a big loss. So back onto the BlueView 5, this thing is doing exactly what the TCL did. It gets stuck on this screen, and when I try to relaunch it, it just does the same thing. So this guy is sadly disqualified too. So that gives the Moto G 2024 first place. It gives the Moto G Play 2024 second place. And both the TCL and the BlueView come in last because sadly they could not launch the game. The one thing that I will say about the TCL is it did withstand a 3-foot drop. So at least it's got something going for it. And now, just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna run a CPU benchmark test on these guys. I don't have high hopes for the TCL. I do, though, have high hopes for the Moto G and the Moto G Play. The BlueView, I think, will do slightly better than the TCL, but not even close to these guys. So we're gonna run these and see what happens. Okay, I let these guys sit overnight because I was waiting for a good 30 minutes and neither the TCL or the BlueView 5 were even close to done. So we're gonna take a look at these scores and hopefully they didn't stop running the benchmark. So here are the scores. These guys have some pretty sad scores, but these guys right here actually didn't do bad at all. It's very interesting to me that the TCL scored better than the BlueView 5. I'm assuming though, that's because this guy has 120 hertz refresh rate and the CPU is trying to keep up to push that 120 hertz. And since the BlueView is on 60 hertz, the CPU doesn't have to push as much power to keep the 120 hertz going since it's only doing half of that at 60 hertz. So for this category, the Moto G comes out in first. The Moto G Play comes out in second. The TCL, very surprisingly, comes out in third. And sadly, the BlueView 5 comes out in last. Okay, and that concludes all the testing I'm gonna put these phones through. We have a pretty clear winner. The Moto G beat every other phone by a mile, and it was the cheapest phone on our list, coming in at $25, while the rest were coming in at $30. So if you're looking for an ultra budget phone under the $30 range, if you can find a Moto G, I would definitely recommend picking this guy up. If you cannot though, the Moto G Play is still a very good option. As far as these guys go, I would not pick either of them up. It's going to be very sluggish navigating UI. It's going to be very sluggish playing games, if you can even get them to run. So if you pick either of these guys up, I think you'll be very happy with the money you spend. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, leave a like and please consider subscribing. I will see you in the next one.